We're here with head coach Chris Armas. We'll start off with his initial thoughts on the game against Miami, and then go to questions.
Yeah, look, I mean, it's a game where we've said what was our first win at home against Nashville ends up being a draw that feels like a loss in some ways. This is a draw that you feel like you're from a winning position then to a losing position, then to draw with what the challenge was on the night, which was a tough one. Especially the way the game was going in the second half, to get a good goal back that we can walk away with a hard-earned point. I think the guys feel really good about that. And I've said it before, as a coach, it's not easy to. You can tell them certain things, you can show them certain things, but they need to experience those things. You don't have to convince Messi of anything right now, right? But a young team that they're good, that they're together, that what we're doing is working. Nights like that, I think, help them all grow a little bit. So I think it's a big positive in many ways coming from that game. You know, the last part about that game, and I just was joking with one of the young guys, Kamani comes into the game. Imagine what that means for, where was he 6 months ago? What was he doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, it was in his development. But Lamine gets minutes, makes a difference when he comes in. Can't forget that Ali Laraz is a young player that's coming in. What does that mean to him on the night? You'd have to ask him, but I understand what it means for those guys. And you can keep going. Seb Anderson. We're asking him if he's playing games with the second team. Lots of training with us, but he steps up on the night. So, and you can obviously there's Yapi and Moy. We're still a young team with a lot of work to do. And I think, this is what training's all about and how we try to get better every day.
To knock out some of the procedural ones, some injury updates on Johnny, Jasper, Keegan, maybe Maxu, and just sort of how they're recovering, and if there's any official word on Johnny.
Yeah, look, Maxu, I mean, he's gotten things sorted out. He's a warrior. He's right away back into training right after that injury, so he's fine. There's always healing that needs to take place with his nose, but Johnny Lewis, 4 days ago he was, still in an immobilizer, really ginger with his knee, but today he's walking around briskly around the building. So he feels good that he'll be progressing to some jogging in the next days. Jasper was we had him limited today in training, so he's looking really good. In the progression and the protocol, he's where he's supposed to be. Could be an option for the weekend in some capacity. Keegan was all in on training today, but again, first training back, but that's really a contusion, so I think it's past him for sure. And Connor Ronan is the other one who's an important miss for us these days. Had good results with some imaging a few days ago or yesterday, which is a positive because they look at the bone, they look at certain things, everything is ahead of schedule. So is it another month and a half, 2 months maybe still, but it's making good progress.
Yeah, one of the guys that, like you said, made their debut with the team, at least for this year, was Sebby Anderson. Played all 90. Just what did you like about the way he played? Do you think he kind of experienced some nerves? How did you think he grew into the game?
Well, he definitely grew into the game, and it's a game that has a lot of little twists and turns. It's a game that has big physical. I mean, we put up our highest distance of the year, is what I was shown, but in terms of ground covered. So these types of games challenge you physically, tactically. They start overloading his area in different moments, and you can see that the talent that they come on, that can challenge you. So the speed of play in moments, so there's a speed of play element, there's tactics, there's player individual quality that who's doing this face? It's good. It's Drew Moore, everybody. It's Drew Moore. Messing around like we're all still like little kids around here. But yeah, I mean, so then the training, the preseason, the video sessions, the hours of this stuff, trying to teach players that you just see if you can arm them enough and then give them the confidence, which I said early on in the week, if Keegan can't go, that's our right back. We're not going to start moving things around at this moment and say, okay, we can put a center back there. He's our right back cover at the moment. He's playing games with the second team. Every single one of those I've seen, He meets the demands of those games. He shows a lot of personality in his quiet way. So on the night, he gets good marks for sure. I thought he did a good job. I think he showed up on the night. And was he nervous? Was he a little? Maybe, but didn't really show up. Like if he misses a pass early on because of nerves, I mean, we've all been there, But proud of him for that he, again, he leaves there probably feeling a little bit like, yeah, maybe I belong type of thing, So only games can do it for you, and that night, for sure, should do it for him.
Lamine also had his debut, not a lot of time, but you guys scored the tying goal in that time. Just what have you made of him this season, just in training, and then what did you think of his debut?
Well, I think a lot of people might have asked, why is he bringing in a holding midfielder? So this is the game to do it. And I actually, on the sideline, when you're watching the game, we didn't have a great grasp of it. We're two strikers. We're pushing the game. We're trying to get a goal. We love being in control, but in that moment, we had to embrace if it got a little out of control, for sure. But we did need defensive stability. In the middle of the pitch, we had Georgi Mihalovic in there at the moment with Cole. We take off Ali we're pushing the game at that moment. But I think if we're not careful, the third goal comes and it's over. So I thought, if we could have the defensive structure in the middle, and Lamine would be that guy. We know he's more of a stay-at-home midfielder, central midfielder. And then he actually makes the play. We were in a mid-block. We force it one way. They play into we call it defensive red zone, the space in and around where Lamine is. He steps forward and pokes the ball free. It goes to Georgi Mihalovic, who turns, plays Calvin, and the rest is history. But it starts from a good defensive play, from good defensive structure. So on the night, for not a lot of minutes, he makes a huge impact. He should feel really good about this. If it was not for him, we don't get that goal. And he has his first touch, he spins out, he connects a couple of passes. And look, we've also watched him play with the second team a little bit. We've watched him in training, we've watched him in inter squads. We're trying to, find moments for him. It's not only now if we have the lead, so he's put himself. I think he leaves that game a few notches above too, feeling part of this in a big way. And he spoke to the team after. He had to stand up, and guys asked for the speech, so he gave a couple of words, and you can see how humble he is and what a nice fit, even as a human being. So, yeah, it's a good moment for him on the night.
And with that, too, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but since he's so strong defensively, like you said, it also can maybe allow Cole to attack more where he's a little more comfortable. Obviously, again, he scores the goal. Just what do you kind of think of that give and take?
Well, yeah, look, it's the way it's been so far with Oliver and Cole is that Ali knows that Cole's going to be the guy that drifts forward more. He's a 6/8. Ali's also a guy that part of his strength is getting into the attack. He's proven last year at the second team he can score, he can get assists. So, no doubt, if Lamine's on the pitch, it does free up either one of those guys or Connor Ronan. So, I'd say it gives the coaches information too now, right? It just gives us information. It gives that player confidence. And yes, Cole Bassett enjoys scoring goals. That's the first thing he would tell you. He loves scoring goals, and he's pretty good at it, and he works hard at it. So we think about ways to free him up and get him more involved in the attack.
You handed Zach the armband in replacement of Keegan. Was that a easy call? And what did you see from his leadership on the night?
I would say, is it an easy call? Yes. Did we think about a few guys? Yes. But in the end, once you decided, no, it's I don't think we can go wrong with a few guys.
Right.
So in the end, I'm not laboring over that decision. He's a leader. Guys respect him. He's got a good voice. When he talks, people listen. On the night, imagine the magnitude of the game for some of the players. And Zach's been around, he's been in big games, big moments. Does the armband affect him in an emotional way too much? I think he was pretty steady on the night. So, but yeah, come on, we have Georgie, we have Maxu, who leads the back line. You have, who would say if we gave Cole Bassett the armband, Sam Vines, you got a bunch of guys that you can say, hey, does anyone else make sense? But this, for me, it was he earned that. It was a nice honor for him on the night, as he said.
You had just on initial watch and then on rewatch, it really looked like Moïse was just all over the field. And even if he had a turnover, he ended up intercepting it 2 passes later, right? So, how has he really grown into such a dominant player in not a lot of MLS minutes or games? And what are your thoughts on that game and just sort of his progress this season?
Yeah, look, I said it after the press conference. We're at the press conference against LAFC that we talk a lot, and it's as much as we don't joke about it. It's not a joking thing, but we talk about the master of the basics, and that's now his nickname, MOB. I'm the master of the basics. I'm like, just make the simple passes, man. I get crazy, but for a youngish player, not a lot of games on his belt, with that much talent, just raw talent. Not just that he can run. He's actually a smart player. He reads the games really well. He's a guy that when things get hard, he's not shrinking, and that night showed it for sure. His top end speed helps him in recovery runs and get out of certain situations. He's physically strong. Yeah, I met his family on the night. He comes from a wonderful family, so this is a big part of what makes him a good player for me. He walks in a room. He's instant energy, positivity. So, as the coach, I mean, I see the talent, I see it, but I see all the other things too. So, defending the box, type of defending, stopping short, put your hand behind your back, rolling the ball, step overs, crazy habits sometimes that say, hey, come on, like he told me early on he wants to go to Europe one day, play for Barcelona. He has these big aspirations, which I'd be the first one to say, hey, take a chance on that guy. For all these reasons. However, when you're a young center back, like you look at Van Dijk, you look at the top players, they do the basics right. Are they the master of the basics? Messi is. Of course, I mean, you don't see Messi, the bicycle kick. You see he actually does all the little things at the highest level consistently. It's not easy. The good ones make it, all that stuff look easy. NCAA basketball last night, you see just the fundamentals come out in all over the place. That's what I know from being a player myself and a coach, to say the things that win and lose you games. It's oftentimes the simplest of things, but it's not so simple because there's stress, there's fatigue, there's opposition. So with him, keeping a good head on his shoulders, keeping him down, looking at video, hard. We take hard messages, and we never berate guys and belittle and embarrass. We just shut the door and we look hard at things. And for him, he can take that. So the messaging on the pitch, in the video room, even when I see it to his face, it's the doing the little things right, and getting better at that.
Coach, 2 of the team of the match day shouts for Miami, Messi and Ruiz, from this side's perspective. No one from our side even getting a shout. What does the technical staff, the other players, have to say about pieces like that come out from the league, maybe some chatter from around the league, and a performance that, overall was positive for this side?
Yeah, look, externally, if people recognize that we're doing good work and the players are worthy of I'm sure that some guys got considered. You can only pick 11 or so. Like there's some they can do with the players, with the coaches. This stuff is, I think it's always nice for a player to get recognized. Georgi Mihalovic gets the shout last week. And I know our guys are getting considered, Moïse and Maxu. I'm sure their names have come up during the year. I'm sure Cole, for that performance / goal, it comes up. I think all of them, my players and myself included, what matters most to us is getting results, doing all the controllables. We can't control that directly. It'll come. There'll be some of our names that show up on there along the way, I'm sure, because we have a nice group, and some guys are going to start making some noise.
And what do you believe is necessary to bring home those 3 points, much-needed 3 points with San Jose this weekend coming up? Sam mentioned moments in transition, just finishing off those chances wasn't good enough against Miami, so those 2, and then what else from you?
Look, it'll be a tough game. In their building, a team that is I think is playing pretty good. team looking for points themselves, really hungry for points. If I'm them, this is a game they think, hey, we got to get our points at home against Colorado. Like, fair enough. But for us, it's going to be about resetting. If we have some momentum in us, can we use that a bit? Ride the wave of some positive stuff going on, some confidence that we can take with us, knowing we can play with anybody. But on the day, we'll have to be at our best. I know this. If we 5% slipping, we're finished. I know this. So can we be better in attack? Can we be better in attacking transition? Can we continue to be good in defensive transition? Can we get better on all set piece moments? And then defensively, can we be organized? And we give up a couple of goals from being a little bit open and stretched this past game. So I can tell you one thing, we have to keep the process going, stay on track, get better at all the things that make us good and make us us, and I think we'll have a chance. But we'll have to go and earn that against a good team.
Kind of wanted to go back to the 6-8 position. You got guys like Lamine and Ollie, but you also have guys like Jasper coming back, and then Connor eventually as well, who you can kind of plug in any of them and they all do different things well. But when all those guys do become healthy, just what is kind of your plan for getting them playing time and evaluating them?
Yeah, look, I mean, as a coach, I've said it many times. I mean, you imagine you only have two options. All right, we're playing with two pivots, 2 6s, and then only 2 are healthy. Or you have 4 to choose from, or 5. We'd rather have the 5. And that means you can start games one way, you can finish the games a certain way, you can think about a different system. Our principles don't change. Can you play 2 strikers, play a diamond, you get more central midfielders in ways? We've thought about it and we've trained it a bit, but we'll have flexibility knowing that if our principles are strong and we're clear on how we behave in general, principally with and without the ball, that we can get more central midfielders on. So, yeah, when that comes, we'll be ready as we have these discussions now. So, I certainly, playing time in minutes is a thing we have as coaches, and it's the worst part when you have to tell guys they're not getting those minutes, right? But at the same time, you want to be in a position where you can make those decisions because it gives you the internal competition gets stronger. We all get better. They start pushing each other, and then all of a sudden the overall thing looks better. So yeah, we'll figure that out when it comes.